Welcome everybody to our meeting today. We are going to focus on how bridges can integrate inclusive design, neurodiversity, and UDL for equitable learning environments. This is to strengthen our training and our impact in Libya. The information is summarized from a course I took this summer on neurodiversity in the workforce, and I tried to make connections to our Libyan context, private schools, and teacher training. My goal is to show what Bridges is already doing well and what we can grow into. First, our objectives of this meeting would be to introduce the 8 main concepts that can be adapted to Bridges, highlight our strengths and opportunities for growth, and to show why inclusivity matters in Libya schools. And here I have a little quote about teacher training. It's not a full quote, it's just a summarized idea from this article. And it says, teacher training is one of the strongest predictors of success in implementing inclusive education. I want us to remember that as we're going to schools and developing trainings on inclusive education. We're going to start off with universal design for learning. There are 3 principles: representation, engagement, and action and expression. We're going to start with representation. What is it? It's the what of learning. It's giving students multiple formats so that they can understand in multiple different ways. That means through video and through pictures and through graphs and through questions and so many different ways that they can be learning the content through. We also have engagement. This is keeping learners motivated and helping them regulate their emotions and their effort, fostering goals and expectations and listening to those things and optimizing choice for them. For action and expression, this is really the how. This is giving them different ways to show what they know, to show what they learned, writing, speaking, visuals, or projects, any of those things. And at the first part, we have one of the ways we want to give resources to our teachers of such things as from Novak Education. That's where this resource is from, and it's on giving students choice in how they want to showcase their learning. An example would be creating a podcast, and on it there are ways to learn about how to create a podcast, lots of support for the teacher to give students the resources they need to be able to learn how to do those things. It's a great resource, and we want to develop more of those. Now we're getting into our definitions. This is first on disabilities. Disability, it's an umbrella term. It covers impairments, activity limitations, participation, restrictions, which result from the interaction between health conditions and environmental barriers. So this means that it can take many forms, some visible, some not. Both types affect participation and success. In Libya, we know awareness is still very low, particularly about learning disabilities, and many teachers don't recognize them. And even the definition from the Ministry of Education in Libya, it's المق هو كل من يعني من ناقص دائم يعيق عن علامة كلية أو جزئية أو عن ممارسة السلوك العادي في المجتمع، سواء كان الناقص في القدرة العقلية أو النفسية أو الحسية أو الجسدية، وسواء كان خلقية أو مكتسبة. So you understood what that meant. It's not written there, but it really is showing that they're focused on the medical and where it is a deficiency within the person. But internationally, the disability, as the WHO, sorry, not the WHO, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, they really showcase that it's about activity limitations and participation restrictions. It's shaped by the environment, not the person themselves. So moving beyond this deficit view, and this means adapting teaching and environment so students and employees can thrive. Invisibilities, invisible disabilities, these aren't always obvious, and they can create significant challenges for learners and employees. Common examples are ADHD, dyslexia, anxiety, chronic illness. And in Libya, these are often misunderstood or overlooked. And some teachers, we have heard, they think a student who struggles with reading might be lazy, but maybe they have dyslexia and they don't have a diagnosis for that. This is why definitions can be really important. So this is not summarized, this is paraphrased from the Yale Dyslexia Center. Dyslexia is a lifelong condition that makes it difficult to read, write, and spell, but it does not affect intelligence. So definitions like these are really important, and we want to add them into our trainings. We want to make sure that we are bringing awareness to teachers who are the forefront of helping those be known in children. Specifically learning disabilities, since we work with teachers, are really important, and there's a definition written out here about how could be many different things. It's a disorder of one or more of the basic psychological processes. It may show itself mentally, or it may be a disability in listening, thinking, speaking, reading, writing, math, in many different ways. So learning disabilities are very broad, and we want to make sure that we are trying to bring awareness of those to the teaching community here in Libya. Invisible disabilities may not be seen, but they greatly affect participation, even though they're not obvious. Neurodiversity, this is how every brain works differently and has different strengths and challenges. So it means that all of our brains have natural variations and none of them are deficits. We are all diverse in our brains. No brain is the same. Each one is unique, like a fingerprint. So this includes things like ADHD, dyslexia, and other conditions, but those are still just neurodiversity. In our workshops, this means teaching teachers to normalize the differences instead of labeling students as problems. And this also matters for our company, our hiring practices. We want to normalize those differences as well by building inclusive neurodiverse teams. Diverse teams equals stronger teams. So this is what we want to work towards. We also went over the neuroscience of learning in this course, and this really helps us understand how the brain learns. And educational neuroscience, as Ungvarsky defines it, it's a multidisciplinary study of the ways the brain functions during the learning process. And one of the most powerful concepts here, the key principle, is neuroplasticity, how the brain can change and rewire. And here's a reminder, here's a quick sentence that you can remind yourself of, is neurons that fire together, wire together. So when we get those neurons firing in our brain, we can strengthen certain parts of our brain, and we can also strengthen information that is already in our brain. And so that neuroplasticity means our brains can change and rewire all the time. It's always happening. After this meeting, our brains will be different. Your brains will be different from learning some of these things. So Goldberg, he explains that when students have a really good optimal balance between support and challenge, they're going to learn and develop well. And so this is where we want to make sure that we are challenging our students, all of them, even though they are neurodiverse, and we want to try and really give that balance well. For bridges, what does it mean? We're going to try and integrate more brain-based strategies into our teacher trainings. I also went over emotions and learning, and this is very important, as in Libya, many children, almost all of them, have experienced trauma and have many emotions happening in the classroom all day long. And neuroscience research shows that emotions and learning, they're deeply connected. So I'm going to say his name wrong, maybe. Ting and his colleagues, they found that emotion directly influences attention, memory, motivation, also reasoning and problem solving. So without emotional engagement, learning can be shallow and it can be easily forgotten. Stress can help learning and it can harm learning. And this is a concept we want to start helping teachers understand more. Here in Libya, self-regulation is rarely taught at home or at school. And so this is where we want to train teachers to model self-regulation and help them by co-regulating and giving them the scaffolding they need to be able to do it by themselves and to teach these life skills. It has such a substantial influence on cognitive processes in humans. So this is why we want to make sure we are aware of the emotions of our students and how it affects them. Inclusive design. So inclusive design, it means planning from the beginning for environments that work for everyone rather than reactively seeing what some students are needing after I have started and done a one size kind of fits all model. So this is where we want to make sure we design with inclusivity in mind. We want to be flexible for different learners. Our strength in this is we do this in our teacher training. In the training itself, we are giving options for how to express what they have learned. We are showing multiple formats within our training all the time. We always have visuals, and we always have our infographics that have visuals on them. We have role plays, and we have pictures and everything. We are trying to have multiple formats in our trainings, which is great. Another strength we have is really emphasizing that classroom management, a lot of it has to do with our students overstimulated or understimulated, and teaching teachers about sensory overstimulation or understimulation, sensory processing disorder. So we're teaching our teachers about that, which is really great. I really love this that I have at the bottom. Inclusive design equals dignity and equity in classrooms. We want to make sure that we are lifting up everyone in the classroom. We are wanting to create a neurodiverse team. This brings creativity and problem solving, especially when we are from different cultures. I'm from the USA, my colleague is from Australia, we have some from Libya, and so we have such a diverse team, but we are also neurodiverse, and we want to open that up more. We want to make sure that we are willing to have people who maybe others are not so willing to in the business world, have them on their team, as they see that maybe it's just challenges, but they bring so much more than just challenges. It brings so much creativity to the team and different strengths rather than everyone having the same. So this means we're focusing on offering accommodations, removing barriers. Maybe that is for physical disabilities, so we can have wide doors and ramps, but also it means offering accommodations for those that have learning disabilities or that have neurodevelopmental disorders. And so we want to make sure that we are trying to put those processes in now so that we can, in the future, hopefully have a very neurodiverse team. Our strengths are that we are already doing training on sensory awareness and how emotions affect engagement and learning within the brain. And we are embedding UDL strategies into our workshops and how we train teachers. And we're starting to reduce stigma around disabilities and invisible disabilities. And we're providing practical, easy to use teaching strategies, especially ones that are around inclusive design. And we are trusted now as a professional development provider because of our trainings and because of how we are including everyone in them, and it is not just for those in a lecture style, and there is no stimulation and there's no engagement. So this is really great. This is the feedback we have gotten. We have areas for growth, for sure. We are not doing well on awareness for dyslexia and other learning disabilities. We also need stronger integration of neuroscience and training. We also, our hiring policies, we don't have them developed yet to be shaped around neurodiversity. And we're lacking specific definitions on disabilities, on specific ones. And that is really important. Like I showed earlier, it can create that awareness that teachers and we and parents all need here in Libya. Our practical steps forward: create teacher training on dyslexia and learning disabilities. We also want to integrate emotional regulation strategies into the workshops where we are modeling it for the teachers. Strengthen our brain-based teaching with neuroscience and with neuroplasticity, which we don't talk about currently in our training. We want to adapt our neurodiverse hiring practices at Bridges so that we can really welcome those people in, and to create teacher training on inclusive education and providing those teachers with UDL resources. So these are our practical steps forward, and let me know what you think after this meeting on what you think you would be able to work on to help to further these ideas within Bridges. Thank you so much.